Hey, what's up guys? Mario here. Today I'm gonna be connecting the Ethernet Smoothstepper with this breakout board C25R5 to the Teknic servo motors using the 8-pin Molex that you can buy from their store. Here I have just a regular power that goes to the Teknic servo motor, and the other end goes to the power supply that you can connect. You don't have to buy this one. They recommend having a power supply between 25 to 75 volts. And this is actually their own power supply. Is actually a 75 volts, 350 watts, and I think it says something if you put a fan it can actually run up to 500 watts, but I don't have the fan right now connected, so 350 should be plenty enough for the 3 motors, only from one power supply. And here I have a couple printouts to guide me as a reference to how to connect all these wires to this breakout board. So here I have all the colors, and it's actually telling me what does each color mean. So I have high level feedback, input B, input A, and enable on both positive and negative side. And here I have a regular D25 port pinout, and it's just I'm gonna be using it as a reference to help me understand what pin actually does what, or what can we use it for. So first thing that you want to do is download the software for the Ethernet Smoothstepper and the software for the Teknic servo motors. Then we're gonna open up the Smoothstepper software. You can download Mac 3 or Mac 4 from here, and you can download the pin plugin for either Mac 3 or Mac 4 maybe, but I'm not gonna do either or because I already have Mac 3 and I wanna do my own plugin. So what I wanna do is click here. You want to have your Ethernet Smoothstepper power up and connected with a Ethernet cable. We want to do probably easy mode unless you know what you're doing, so I'm gonna click on easy mode. I want to select this, the number 1, the Smoothstepper, and I want to configure everything. Now it's actually telling me to see if I actually see the Smoothstepper. And there we go. We have the Smoothstepper already connected and communicating to the computer. So I can say that I see the pin and I want to close this. Then we can open up the MSP program from Clearpath. So here's the power cable for the Teknic servo motor, and on the next to it I have the 8-pin Molex connected to it. What I just gotta do is connect the micro USB right here at the top give it power, and then I can recognize it on the computer. So I gave power to the motor. I'm about to connect it with a USB. Okay, it says he found the motor, and it's telling me if I want this. This is tuned for actually unloaded, so it has no weight, so I want to say no. We want to run the auto tune. Yes. This is just a warning saying, you know, you gotta be careful with this type of motors. So read it. I click here. Next. This motor has a peak torque capacity of 717 ounces, and I'm gonna accept the 100% torque limit right now to see what it does while I'm tuning it. I want to click limited rotation because the axis can only go so far up and down. Unlimited will be you don't have no stop. I want to move the motor up and down using power. You want to hold control. Let's see. We want to hold control to enable the motor, and then we can click either off of this and see where is the direction that it's actually moving. I'm gonna give it a little more speed. Okay, now that I have it on green, it's telling me that it has enough distance to tune the motor. So I'm gonna click next. This is just all the settings that I chose. Is torque 100%, limited rotation. So I'm gonna click next. It's just saying that all the following behaviors are gonna be normal: high pitch, low pitch, fast and slow movements, buzzing. So I'm gonna click next, and then I want to click run. So it's finished now. I'm gonna just click next. you want to disable the motor before you can continue. So I'm just gonna disable it and click next. I want to change the identity of the motor, and we're gonna name this one C axis. You can name it whatever you want. And then you want to choose a mode. That we gotta go right here on their mode, and we gotta select step and direction, and that's it. Right here I have the cables for my 3-axis. So I just don't get confused. I'm gonna grab a piece of tape, put it around each cable. And put which axis is each cable. Right here is the Ethernet Smoothstepper. What I'm gonna do is connect the breakout board, which I just gotta put the 2 clips like this. So I just put the 2 clips together. And just make sure that all the cables are going to be connected on port 1, because this breakout board can actually emulate 2 ports, 2 DV25 ports. So make sure that all the cables are connected on port number 1, unless you want to somehow do it differently and use port number 2, but I'm going to be using port number 1. So it's gonna be this side right here. This is just my 5-volt cable that I have connected to a regular power supply, I guess, wall power supply. So let's see. We want to use the step and direction on each axis. So according to my pinout, I'm gonna be using pin number 2 and pin number 3 for my X, for step and direction. So it will be my black and white, which is right here. I just gotta look for my X axis. So my X axis is right here. I'm gonna be using the white and black. So a step is pin number 2, which is the black wire. My direction is the white wire, and I'm gonna be using pin number 3. Then we want to connect the y-axis, the same, the black and white on pin number 4 and 5. And my z-axis right here, according to this pinout, it says 8 and 9, but I don't have like a slave axis or a forward axis, so I'm just gonna use 6 and 7 for my black and white. Now the step and direction on the negative side, which is according to this is yellow and brown, on each axis we want to connect it to ground or common. So I'm gonna connect the two wires together, the yellow and brown, on all axes, and connect them to a ground pin. Then we want to connect the enable. Let's see the enable. My enable, it will be blue and orange. So we want to use the blue on all three axes. I'm gonna connect the blue on pin number 17. That's the pin I'm gonna be using. And all three oranges on ground or common. So now we have the high level feedback. The only thing about the high level feedback, so it can work correctly, we're gonna need to connect it in series. So what you want to do is connect let's see, the green, which is the positive side, I'm gonna connect it the green, I'm gonna connect it to pin number 10, and the red, I'm gonna connect it to 5 volts, but because we have to connect it in series, what I'm gonna do is on each axis, I'm gonna connect the red and the green on one axis together, and then the red and green on the other axis in series. So let's say at the end I'm gonna have one red and one green, and the green goes to pin number 10, and the red goes to the 5 volts. So let's see. The other thing that we're gonna need to connect, which I don't have it right here on the table with me, is gonna be an emergency stop. So I'm gonna be using these wires to pretend it's an emergency stop, and the other cable we can use it as a limit or as a probing device too. So I'm gonna be connecting one side to pin number 15, and the other side to ground. If you're wondering why I have one wire loose, is because the y-axis is actually not gonna be connected to the machine right now, but I just wanted to show you how to connect all the wires. Just remember that the extra axis has to be in series with the other red and green. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna power up the Smoothstepper and go into Mach 3. So I'm gonna open up Mach 3. I'm gonna click, you can rename or create your own name, but I'm just gonna leave it at ESS. You wanna select the Ethernet Smoothstepper Mach 3 option right here. I'm gonna, if once you have it all ready and done, you can select this option, but as for now I'm gonna click OK. If everything is connected on the Smoothstepper correctly, it should just came out of the warning, but before we can actually jog the machine, we have to go onto ports and pins, motor outputs, and we want to enable X, Y, and Z axis. If you have extra axis, then you can enable it here too, but as for mine, we only using three axis, so I'm gonna click right here on step and direction, which is pin number 2 and pin number 3. Right here is number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. Let's say we had a dual y-axis slave. We want to turn, let's say, A, and put here 8 and 9. This will be to click if, let's say, the axis, when you try to go left, it actually goes right, so you want to click this to switch it around, but I don't know how it actually runs, so I'm gonna leave it unchecked. Right here we want to put step port number 1 and direction port number 1. This will be for the option of the DV25 printer port. If you're using only the one side, if you have multiple, more than 4 axes, then maybe you want to select number 2 to select, let's say, B and C axis maybe, but right now I'm just gonna click here and put number 1. The spindle, I'm gonna be using it with a different program, so I'm not gonna do anything right here. I'm gonna be using X home port number 1. I'm gonna put it on pin number 11. Same with the Y and Z port number 1 and pin number 11. If you have, like I said, if you have more axes, then you want to do maybe the same with the other axes, but I don't, so I'm gonna skip those. I'm gonna click the option probe pin number 1, and here I'm gonna put in number 12. The E-stop, I'm gonna leave it on 15, and I'm not gonna select the active lobe, just the way it is. And right here I'm gonna click input number 1 and pin number 10, which is for my high level feedback, so you want to turn that option on. And then I'm gonna go to the outputs and enable output on port number 1, pin number 17. I'm gonna enable it, and that should be it right here, nothing else. I'm not gonna do nothing around here, neither with the spindle setup or these other options, so I'm just gonna click apply. Then before we can actually try to jog the machine still, we gotta go into motor tuning. We want to click on the axis that we want to tune. I'm gonna select, as for right now, 10,000 steps. Then you want to jog this little arrow and select the acceleration. It's actually in seconds, so I wanna, I wanted to, let's say, quarter of a second maybe, to get to 111 inches. No, let's see, yeah, 111 inches per minute. but you want to make sure you can actually go a lot faster. But as for right now, we're gonna try to move it at around 130, and then I'm gonna go back again here on the acceleration and just try to click. Let's leave it right here, which should be around quarter of a second acceleration. We can speed it up or slow it down, and then save axis. Same with the other axis. We want to do the same with the X, the Y and the C. My Y is actually not connected right now, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. And on my C, I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna click just 10,000 steps for right now. Let's see, we want around 130 inches per minute. And my acceleration to be around a quarter of a second. Save the axis, click OK, and now we can see if he actually moves. Before I try to jog the machine, I'm gonna go right here into the diagnostics, and I wanna just double check. Let's say that you can actually check by try to activating. I'm gonna try to activate the probe, which is the digitize, the home, which will be this right here, this M1, M2, and M3, and then try to activate the emergency. So let's see. So right here is my home, which if I let it go, it actually comes on, and comes on, goes off. Now I'm gonna try to do the probe. The same thing, the digitized lights on, lights off, lights on, lights off. And now if I press the emergency button, let's say, the emergency is blinking and the reset option lights up. But if I don't depress it and I try to click it, it's not gonna let me until the emergency is actually released. So once I release it and then I press reset, then it goes back to clear. So now we can actually go back and try to see if the axis actually move. So I'm gonna be moving the C axis up and down. And then I'm gonna be moving the X left and right. So right there I know my X axis is actually backwards. Plus it's really slow, but we can actually go back into the settings right here, ports and pins. Let's see, yeah, right here, and then I can enable my X-axis to go the other direction. I'm guessing my my Y-axis might be the same, so I'm gonna click the two. But my C was actually doing fine. The up and down was, in the direction that I wanted. I'm gonna click apply. And then the next option will be motor tuning. It's really slow, so I'm gonna increase the steps to just 25,000 just to see what happens. Oh, let me see, I gotta click on the axis that I want to change. 25,000. Accelerate. Let's see. At a quarter of a second. and we're still at 130 inches per minute. I'm gonna click yes, and then my C-axis the same, 25,000. My acceleration will be around 1/4 of an inch right there at 130 inches per minute. I'm gonna click OK, and let's see what happens. Let's see. So it's actually faster. Now what I would like to do is go into the settings tab, go into set steps per unit, and click on the axis, and let's say I want it to move 1 inch. Let me try to get a tape measure and just try to get a rough estimate to see how it actually moves. So I'm gonna click OK. So I'm gonna say they actually just move around 0.3 inches roughly. I'm gonna click OK, and that's gonna try to tell me how many steps does the motor actually moves. But to do that, you know, really good, I'm gonna need to do something more precise instead of just using a tape measure. But as for right now, I'm just gonna leave it like that, because I'm gonna need to take the whole CNC down before I can move it to the actual place where it's gonna be. So I just wanted to show you how to actually connect the Ethernet Smoothstepper, and to show you how you actually, you know, you can get the motors to move. But you will need to do more tuning on the motor tuning. Right here, we gotta change the steps to more accurate steps, and then we can increase the speed and the acceleration. But as for right now, I'm gonna leave it like that, because I need to take it down before I can actually retune the motors again with everything actually mounted. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, or you can just leave me a comment down below if you have any questions about this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.